just going to do this like a bit of an interview. So can we just start by, can you introduce yourself, Tamsin? You're the Skype nurse.
Yeah, so I'm Tamsin Lenton. I'm the school nurse for the Vale of Belvoir section of schools, and I'm based in Melton. Belvoir High School, where I do the Skype clinic, is about half an hour away. So it's really good to be able to offer pupils a contact, which is much that you haven't got the travel time, and they've got a variety of days then that they can contact me.
That's good. All right. Thank you, Tamsin. I should introduce myself as well. I'm Jimmy Endicott. I'm Mobile Media Development Manager at Leicestershire Partnership NHS Trust, and we worked together, didn't we, Tamsin, setting up this pilot with Caroline Palmer, our clinical lead. So let's ask you some questions. Can you just tell us a little bit about what was the world like for you working with Belvoir High School before you launched into this Skype pilot?
Well, it was when I started there, then I introduced myself to a lot of pupils, and they were very excited because they hadn't had much contact from their school nurse before. So I had a lot of sexual health contacts on a Monday at my drop-in, and I was new to school nursing, so I was so busy. I was maybe having 20 pupils coming to see me for condoms on a Monday and all the documenting, and I hadn't got time to do the sort of like emotional health work with young people. So it was really very sort of like based around those short contacts around providing condoms, making sure that they were safe in their relationships. But also if they needed anything else, then it was a long drive out to go and see them through an appointment. So it was an hour's travel there and back to base at least, and then setting up. And then when I did the Here For You audit, then one of the main things that came out from that was that they wanted a different day that they could contact me. So if they weren't able to be in school on a Monday, or if they've got lessons they couldn't miss, then it was good to be able to have that second day that they could have an appointment.
But prior to us doing this pilot, obviously that would have taken your working week would have become sort of 2 days a week spent in school then, as opposed to 1 day a week.
Yeah, and because I'm part-time as well, then that meant that a huge amount of my time was spent travelling. So my working hours were spent travelling.
So we teed up this pilot, and the idea was that we would use Skype to try and use your time more efficiently and give young people more choice about ways to get in touch with a school nurse. And then you promoted the virtual clinic in school, didn't you?
Yeah, so Caroline worked really hard with the IT in school because they needed to make some changes to their Wi-Fi system, I think. I don't think it was difficult in the end, but it was just having those relationships with school, and the head teacher was involved, and the IT, and I needed Caroline to support me with that. And then she also, I think they identified Kathy, who works in the library, and she'd got an IT background, and she's been absolutely amazing. She makes my appointments for me and sends them out in the register. She's put posters of me all over the school. She sends out reminders to people that Skype clinic's on a Friday, so that it goes out in the registers, and she talks about the web chats as well. She highlights that in school. And then there's screens in the library and in the canteen, so it's all advertised there. And I without having those links, then I think it would have been much more difficult. But because of her, then children are reminded about their Skype appointments, so my attendance at those appointments is pretty good now.
So I'm getting from that, it's been very important to have a person on side in school.
Yeah, and she's also the safe person, and because the pad is set up in the room in the corner of the library, if somebody went out of the room upset, then she would be able to follow that up because she would see them going out of the room. So
can we just explore that in a little bit more detail? Because I did want you to talk about the safety aspects of the way this works. So how does this work from the young people's point of view, and can you tell us a little bit more about this safe person role and the things that we have put in place to make this a safe experience for young people?
Yeah, I haven't really had any problems with the safety point of view because people, I think if they're sent a Skype appointment and they don't want to attend it, then they don't come along. So I have a DNA, but that's better than driving out and seeing them and then them not attending. But Kathy has the phone, so if I need to phone her about a pupil that maybe I'd seen, then she would, I can speak to her on it. So there's a safe phone. Initially, when I started it, then I only saw pupils that I knew were going to be safe to see, and things like assessing self-harm. I wouldn't offer somebody that was self-harming an appointment to be able to, because you can't actually see what their self-harm's like. And one girl said that she was self-harming on her leg, so it's quite hard for her to hold her leg up to the camera. But in terms of generally, then it's an emotional health thing that I'm seeing them for, and that I've been able to do exactly the same work on Skype, so I can do their early warning signs. I've done the gingerbread man over Skype, and I'm able to hold it up to the camera. They can see that. So I'm really confident that there isn't a safety problem, but there are safe people in schools that I can get in touch with if there was a pupil that was upset. But having done it for a year now, then I don't anticipate that happening.
Let me just play back to you, Tamsin, the way that I think some of the safety aspects works. I'm a bit familiar with some of the protocols that we put in place. So I think the way that it works is that you've got a person on side in school, and we call them the safe person. So that's the idea that there is somebody, a real person on the ground in school that can intervene if we needed them to. But generally speaking, when everything's running well, you set up a tablet in a consulting room effectively. The safe person in school would set the tablet up for you, establish a Skype connection to you in your base several miles away, and then young people would come and go into that room just as they would if they were coming to a face-to-face clinic. And you've got the assurance of that there's a safe person at hand who's got a mobile phone number that you can call, and that person will be aware when you are running Skype clinics with people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that right?
She's the same person that set it up.
Yeah.
So she knows exactly who's coming into the room and when they leave, and if there's any problems, then I can contact her.
Okay. And how have you fitted that in with your working life then? How's it fitted in around your existing caseloads, etc.?
Well, it is flexible. So if for any reason I'm on training on that particular day, then I let Kathy know, and because I haven't actually asked anybody else to run it for me, it has been a little bit quieter recently. So it just fits in. It's better for me. And also then it makes the Monday less pressured because I can offer them an appointment for Friday. So I just work it sort of like much more flexibly than maybe initially when I set it up. Then I was sort of like offering appointments because I wanted to see how it was going. Whereas now then I'm more confident to give somebody a first appointment on Skype.
So typically you would be doing your face-to-face clinics in school as you used to on a Monday, and then on a Friday, and probably seeing, I don't know, 6 to 8 kids maybe on a Monday in school, and then an additional second day now in schools delivered virtually by Skype on a Friday, and that might be 4, 5, 6 appointments on a Friday maybe.
The Skype clinic, then I run it from 11:10. So we set up at 11 and we run it from 11 o'clock, and generally then I finish it by 12:30. So I generally offer 3 appointments for my Skype clinic. So that's 3 15-minute appointments with 5 minutes in between to allow the person that's in the room to go out, so they're confident there's not somebody waiting at the door and listening in to what's happening. So I generally offer 3 appointments, but I sometimes get in 4 if I really need to.
Okay, so in summary there, you've probably got about 50% more contact time in school, about 50% more than what you were doing on a Monday, doing on a Friday.
Yeah, there's that capacity. I think then what I tend to do now is then I can use that time for my primary schools. So on a Monday, then I might go into Beaver High School a little bit later. So some people are really happy to see me on a Skype follow-up. It might be that I know that I just need to check their sleep diary with them. So I know it's not going to be a big piece of work, that I can fit it into 15 minutes. I can do the analysis and give them the advice over that 15 minutes. Whereas a school appointment, then it might mean a little bit more work, so I'd want to see them face to face. But follow-ups can be done really well over Skype. Yeah,
I was just going to say, Tamsin, and we won't get into this because it's detail and it's probably a bit dull, but I was just going to mention that we do have, in our protocols, we did something, didn't we, around having signage in the room for the young people about using the tablet that's there, and we provided the tablet, although I'm not sure that was necessary, but it's kind of a lockdown tablet. The kids can't faff around with it. And we do something around putting signage on the door, I think, don't we, about there being a consultation in process. But we could always pick that up. If anybody was interested, we could pick that up off the call. So, in summary, how do you think that this has made life better for young people in the high school?
It's definitely given them a different day. So it's always when I go into school for Monday drop-in, I do my appointments before the drop-in. So drop-in tends to be the condoms and the sort of like the sexual health contacts, whereas the appointments before are emotional health. But if they're doing PE, for example, and they don't want to come out of their PE lesson because they're coming off the field, they're in their PE kits and things, then they'll say, oh, Monday's not a good day with me. Are you in any other day? And I say, well, you can have a Skype appointment on a Friday. So there's much more flexibility for them, and also then there's not the time pressure on me travelling. I can follow things up on a Monday. If there's a problem that comes up on a Friday in Skype clinic, I can follow it up on the Monday. So, for example, a girl came to see me on the Friday because she was worried she was pregnant and she bought a pregnancy test, but she wanted to know how to use it. So I was able to go through it. She got the instructions and we went through it over Skype and had a look at everything, and she felt confident to use it on the Friday evening. But then I was following her up on the Monday to use one of our tests with her, and also then just to check in that she was okay. And I'd done some safe work over Skype with her to make sure that she would know what to do if she did have a test, and I was happy with that. So if she had a positive pregnancy test. So it's used sort of like they know that she was worried about it. She was able to come and see me on the Friday, get some reassurance. You know, I took a history from her about what had actually happened and reassured her that it was highly unlikely she was pregnant, but I was able to follow her up on the Monday.
So there's improved choice. Do you think there's anything about using Skype that is impactful for like the smartphone generation? And I'm thinking more along the lines of, you know, maybe they feel a bit more comfortable sometimes when they've got that perceived distance. Is there anything like that comes into play or not? I mean, it's face-to-face. Is it just like a face-to-face clinic? I don't know.
Yes, it's absolutely like a face-to-face clinic. I've had one girl who was absolutely, when I saw her face-to-face in the clinic, then she looked at the floor, she would never look at me, she mumbled, she wasn't really able, I was very worried about her having depression, but she wasn't really able to interact. But when I saw her on Skype, she was a completely different person. And she said, when I got her feedback, that she felt less anxious, she preferred me not being in the room, she was able to talk openly. It was incredible. I think she's my biggest success story with Skype, because the difference was just phenomenal. But then some other young people, I'll offer them a Skype appointment and they'll say, oh no, I don't want to do that, it's weird. But when it comes down to it, that's the only appointment slot I've got, and they take it and they say, oh yeah, it's exactly the same, yeah, I like it. So I've had maybe one person that's completely refused to use Skype, but that's their choice. So, but everybody else has been positive feedback, and for me, then it's felt I've been able to do virtually identical work over Skype.
Brilliant, thank you, Tamsin. Last thought. What's your advice to any other nurses that might be adopting this way of working?
Well, that's a difficult one because everybody works differently. But yeah, I think definitely give it a go. I'm changing my hours. I'm doing the same hours in September. And I'm going to be doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 hours rather than 6 hours over 4 days. I'm going to be doing 8 hours over 3 days. So I am even, because it's working so well for me, I'm even considering going to every other, so having Skype 1 week and face-to-face the next week. I'm just thinking about the sexual health side of things. It might be that I do Skype in the morning from the office, so that I can pick up phone calls and answer the door if I need to support the team, and then go out and do my condom service over lunchtime. So give the school the same offer, but then I haven't got the same sort of I'm still able to contribute as a team player and you know, all of those sorts of things that are important. So yeah.
That's great. Thank you, Tamsin. That's 15 minutes. That's flown by. So I was just going to say there's all sorts of other stuff we could talk about. So I think if there's anybody that's picking up on this that wanted to know more, the best way to get in touch with us is through Twitter. So you could do that to me. So it's at Jimmy Endicott, ENDICOTT. Tamsin Lenton, our Skype nurse. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.